Hello everyone, welcome to Betty Academy, where we make school easier. Please support this channel, subscribe, watch, like, share, comment down below, hit on the notification bell. So in this lesson we are going to look at the weaknesses, the weakness associated with the WACC, otherwise referred to as weighted average cost of capital, when used as the discounting rate in the project proposal. So before we look at the weaknesses, the weakness that is associated with that, let's have an overview of what the weighted average cost of capital does when evaluating new projects. So the weighted average cost of capital is a weighted average of the cost of equity, debt, and preference shares, and the weights are the percentage of capital sourced from each component, respectively, in market value terms. It is better known as overall weighted average cost of capital. That is the overall cost of capital for the company as a whole. Moreover, the advantages of using such a weighted average cost of capital are its simplicity, easiness, and enabling prompt decision making. The disadvantages are its limited scope of application and its rigid assumptions coming in the way of evaluation of new projects. So, have you just being that when you look at the sources of finance, you may raise your source of finance from issuing shares to the public, and these shareholders, they need that's an investment to them, so they expect to get dividends. So these dividends that you'll be distributing to the shareholders, that's the cost component for having equity as a source of finance, and also the capital gains in future. Those ones, they are a cost of the cost component to that particular source of finance. When you have debt as your source of finance, you will be repaying the interests. Yeah, those interests is what we are referring to as the cost of having debt as a source of finance. And for the preference shares, you'll have dividends. So all these components, cost of capital, is what they have a percentage, and in that particular percentage is a percentage of the capital sourced from each component, so respectively, that's what you refer to as its weighted average cost of capital. So let's look at the weakness associated with the WACC when you use that weighted average cost of capital to discount as a discounting rate when evaluating projects. Yeah. Now, for those ones, for it to hold, we have those assumptions of WACC when used as a hurdle rate for new projects. So the WACC can very well work as a hurdle rate in evaluating the new projects, provided the following two underlying assumptions are true for those new projects. And here are the assumptions. Here are the assumptions. So when you look at whatever are projected here, these are the assumptions, and as a result of the assumptions, we'll have the disadvantages. So these are the assumptions. For it to hold, we have the weighted average cost of capital, WACC. It is known as overall. WACC is a weight of cost of equity. Preference and debt and weights are percentage of capital sourced in market value terms. So these assumptions, when used as a hurdle rate, these are the two assumptions. One, no change in capital structure. So for this WACC to hold, it assumes that there will be no change in capital structure, meaning that the capital of the new project, the one that you're evaluating, should be the same as the company's existing structure. The other assumption is there is no change in risk of new project, meaning there will be no change in the risk. So there will be no change in the risk of current business and the new expansion, of which that one it's not applicable in the real sense, because for any farm it operates, for any business it operates in an environment that it has no control, so the risk may be higher or lower. So now let's go to being that we'll derive the weakness from the assumption, and we have the disadvantages. The disadvantages is that there are one, there is a difficulty in maintaining capital structure. You cannot maintain that capital structure. It is subject to change. Some of those investors may withdraw their shares, you may borrow more and all that, so the capital structure is subject to change. Then two, impractical assumption may lead to accepting bad proposals and rejecting the good ones. For instance, if you assume the risk of the new project will not change, and it happens that the risk may be higher, so you may end up accepting bad proposals and rejecting the good ones. 3, difficulty in acquiring current market cost of capital. So it may, you see, like for instance, the shares, the current market price for a share, it keeps on changing. It's very volatile, meaning that you may not say that for that particular share it will be constant throughout the period. So, and being that that one is an assumption that you assume the current market cost may be a certain amount, so that one it will make it difficult in so you get some difficulty in acquiring current market cost of that capital. 4, other important sources of capital is avoided, so you may end up avoiding. So other important sources of capital is avoided, which may be cheaper. So let's look at the importance of cost of capital to a farm. It is simple and easy. Yeah, so the moment you have that, it's very easy for you to calculate. 2, single hurdle rate for each project. The hurdle rate is only 1. Yeah, so the hurdle rate is only 1. The third one, prompt decision making, meaning that you'll end up making in terms of decision making, it's very quick. So those are the weaknesses associated with the WACC when used as the discounting rate in the project proposal. And on the other hand, we have the importance of cost of capital to a farm. Yeah, so it is important because of these particular points. I hope you've learned something. That is the end of this lesson. Kindly watch out for our next video and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.